think I'm live now. So what I'm going to show today for my students is some materials that are available for a honor band audition that's coming up. And what's going on with this is that I've invited a few students to come in and audition to be an honor band, but I'm also putting it out there for all my other middle school students that want to have something to work on and give it a try so that they can see if they are selected for honor band, which is going to happen in a few weeks. I think this is a really great opportunity to get outside of the classroom and play with other students, other musicians, and so and to see what it's like to play in a band with a different person in charge, a different conductor, so it's not always me. It's something that I recommend musicians to do, especially young musicians, just to see what it's like to play with other people, and I think it would be a really good opportunity for my students to do. So these are just some tips to show you what they are going to look for in the audition recording for the honor band, which is due in a week. It's not a lot of time, but if you spend some time at home every day after school and over the weekend, you should be able to pull it together pretty quick. At this point, you should be able to do one on your own with your phone. If you have a smartphone, you can just make it a voice memo and submit it as an MP3, and then I'll submit it. But I just want to show you guys some tips that you should keep in mind for those of you that want to give it a go. I'm going to do it on alto sax, which is my primary instrument. But when you look at this sheet, excuse me, the PDF, they have all these different instruments on there. So you've got to look for the page that has your instrument labeled there. Here's my alto sax, and this is what they're expecting. And on the recording, they're going to want you to play to show how you perform these pieces, and that you can do it without a metronome. I would recommend you practice with a metronome as you're preparing things, but they're going to want the recording to not have a metronome on it. So it's just you playing, and also that demonstrates that you have good time on your own. So I'm going to show you guys what they would want and things to watch out for. When you're playing through the chromatic scale here, you want to make sure that you are just being consistent with your tempo. It doesn't have to be a fast tempo or a slow tempo. Slower is fine as long as it's consistent. You don't want it to sound like you're starting and stopping. So you can hear that I'm starting and stopping every time I need to take a breath. It really needs to be consistent so that the tempo is just right there and it's not slowing down or speeding up, and making sure you're hitting all those chromatic notes correctly. So there's a few parts where I took a breath in here. I think I took a breath somewhere around here and somewhere over here and over here, but I just made it a quick breath and I just kept going so that you could hear that the tempo is still consistent and still going. With these scales, these major scales, they're just standard major scales. Watch out for the key signature, and you want to make sure they have specific articulation, so make sure that the articulations are really clear. Again, my tempo is very specific. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, but it's whatever tempo I do it at, it's a tempo that is consistent and not speeding up, slowing down, especially if I have to take a breath or something. And then the concert E flat major. So I went through my scales, and on the audition recording, they're going to want you to play through all. So I'll show you what they're going to want on the audition recording, so it sounds nice and clean. And then there's the etude. An etude is a piece of music that's meant to be a example of you being able to play something solo without accompaniment by yourself, but you also have to demonstrate that you are following a tempo and you're not speeding up, slowing down, losing your place. There's a lot of long notes in here. I would highly recommend that you pick a tempo that's comfortable for you, but also make sure that you're keeping track and not getting lost. Because when the people that are judging are listening, they're gonna follow the music and make sure that you're not getting lost. All right. There's only a tempo marking right here at 63. It's not going to be a big deal because it's a long note. I think it's more just making sure that everything is really consistent. And there's a lot of dynamics, so you got to make sure that you're reading the dynamics. There's articulations, a lot of tenuto marks, some accents, and make sure that you are playing those exactly as written. For something like this, I would tap my foot to keep track and make sure that I'm not losing my place in the music. That I'm messing up a little bit of the dynamics. I'm sight reading this. I've never seen it before. So please be kind, because I'm not super familiar with this music. This is the first time I'm looking at it. That's why you got to work on this stuff beforehand before you actually play it for the audio audition. But hopefully you were able to hear that you're not going to hear my tempo very clearly here because it's a long note, and I think they specifically chose this to show that you can play with a good sound piano and then down to pianissimo, which is even quieter, very soft. But then counting these correctly, the rest and then here you should really start hearing the tempo right here. Let me try it again at 46. Up right here. Man, this one's pretty challenging. There's a lot of dynamic stuff in there, so you got to watch out for that stuff for sure. Be careful with all that dynamic stuff. So really make sure that you work through that. Take your time, and just if you spend a little bit of time every day, starting today for like 4 or 5 days, you should be able to have it together pretty well. And then you can come and see me during my office hours on Monday after school, and we can record your audition. But this is what they're going to look for. I believe that there's specific parameters to follow on the recording. So we can look those up on the other document. But I think you're supposed to say like your name, what instrument you play, and what school you're from. There's a specific order. I should look that up to find out for sure. But I think it's something like that. So this is what I'm just going to play for you, what they expect for the audition recording itself. It's not a video. It's meant to be just an audio recording. But this is what it's going to be like, starting now. Hi, my name is Paulo Almeida. I play alto saxophone, and I go to Hillmar Middle School. Here's the chromatic scale. This is the concert B flat major scale. Concert E flat major scale. Here's the etude. And that's the end of the recording. That's literally all you have to do. But to be able to do that recording, that audition recording, you're showing that you worked on this stuff. You're able to read the sheet music correctly. You're able to read the dynamics, and you can play the chromatic scale and these two concert major scales. All right. Let me know if I can help you with anything, and good luck. Happy practicing, and I'm happy to help anybody that wants to audition for this awesome opportunity, and I'm so happy for anybody that's going to go represent Hillmar this year. Thanks.